what's up, everyone? It's me, Tari HMB. It has been a while today, and I'm glad to have everyone back. Today, we're going to be kicking it today with the stream in regards to one of our topics. So, if you've been following the community posts, you will know that this is the marathon week. And as a result, because this is the marathon week, you will see that we will definitely go into some great details today. So again, just to give people a round off of what we are looking at today, we are going to revisit our post. So if we take a look here, we do see that we got a couple things going on right now. So as you guys may see, we got the 4-day lock-in. And, we're going to be scaling the Big 3 plus Dragon Ball. So it's live scaling of anything as a segment that we will have a little bit later on. I want to say around, we want to do around 6:45. So for those of you who don't know the schedule, just so everything is nicely organized and tidy, I am going to be issuing that right here, actually. Yeah, let me fix this right here. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So then, what I'm going to do here is main topic. Ooh, that's big. All right. So the main topic will be from 5 to 6:45. Because remember, the stream stops at 7:30. Okay. So 5 to 6:45. Scale anything segment 6:45 to 7:30, and that's going to be just the general time frames we're working with, folks. That's just going to be for this week. Okay. So now that we have this bad boy, let's get our topics here. Jump down and put it in a place where it's not too distracting. All right. So, all right, now that that is taken care of, let's kind of blend that out a little bit. All right, there we go. All right, so we got a lot on the screen. Hope you guys ain't overwhelmed. All right, so now that we're pretty much taking care of that, it's time to really lock in. And yeah, why don't we dive right in topic today, and let's talk about it. So first, we're gonna give an introduction to everyone who has stopped by on the stream today. So let's see who stopped by today. All right, so we have Mateo DBZ, a returning member. Thank you so much for coming through today. Top Hat, welcome, Macadamia. I'm glad to have you in today. Finally, good quality content. The GOAT of donos. Literally, I low-key think you're Mr. Beast, low-key, because of what you did last time. But, yeah, glad to have you in today. And, yeah, thanks for coming by, everyone. We're going to go ahead and jump in and get started. Oh, Harvado, welcome to the stream. Did not see you there. Glad to have you in today. Harvado is an OG, been following since the early days. All right, so I'm glad to have you guys in as a group overall. So this is awesome. And we are going to be locking in real soon. Let me just double check one more portion here. All right. And yeah, there we go. Just make sure everything else looks nice and tidy. And yep. So I think the only thing I'm going to do here is all right. All right, so yeah. So we are just going to make sure everything else is pretty much where it needs to be. And yeah, all right. Let's see here, go here. All right. And then, yeah, that pretty much goes for that. So, all right. So I'm just going to be getting everything else readied up and started and ready to go. Yep. And then, yeah, I think that's going to just be it for now. And then we will lock everything else in. Yep. All right. So, yep. So let's see here. Get everything else ready here. I do want to hear this. Give me 1 second, guys. I want to listen to something real quick. What's this? No. Yeah, we like this song. Yeah. Yeah, we like this. Yeah. All right. That's a good song. All right, so now here we go, guys. So we also welcome Akeem Reese. Welcome to the stream. I'm glad to see you in today. Could Michael Myers survive against the pack of the Utah Raptor from the Premium War film, or will he get disemboweled and torn apart? We will answer that once the segment comes around 6:45. Once 6:45 comes, I will give you a more clear-cut answer on that. But for now, we're going to be focusing on the topic for today, which is our boy Naruto and some of the hot takes. So where do we begin, folks? So, we can go in a numerous amount of directions. So what we're probably going to do is probably going to be reacting to some cringe Twitter post about Naruto. I am very curious about what people got to say about Naruto. Just because you never know. So I want to see. Let me see here. So let's talk about Naruto. All right. Yeah, man. You know, we're definitely aiming to do the best that we can in the stream today. What's up, Talking Koala? Naruto versus 5 Talking Koalas. All right, see, that has to do with Naruto. So again, I like that. Now the question comes down to who is Talking Koala and how strong is Talking Koala? Let's find out. So, the real truth to figuring out how strong Talking Koala is, well, you got to give me some context. So, can a Talking Koala, well, a koala that can talk probably can't beat Naruto. So, unfortunately, it may not land the best, but that's okay. I would imagine that Naruto would still win. And I'm going to go into reasons for why that is. All right, so let's take a look here. But anyway, yeah, that's my take on that. But outside of that, what else do we know about Naruto? Let's see what Twitter has to say about it. Let's see. Let's look up some versus battles. I want to see some versus battles of Naruto. I want to see some versus battles. Let's take why don't we look at Comic Vine, people? All right. Oh, this one is very interesting. This one is interesting. All right, so let's see. We got a couple of them. Okay, so one of them is... Okay, so one... it depends on several variables. Okay, so... You gotta be joking. You gotta be joking. Oh, man, some of these battles are, terrible. And by the way, it could be any character from Naruto. It doesn't have to be Naruto. But this one I actually want to do. So this one I want to do. Let's take a look. All right, guys. So we got a topic called All right, so let me type it in the chat. So Naruto plus hot takes. All right, so first off, we gotta go to our bad boy right here. Know what I'm saying? Hey Peter, hey Peter. Why don't you take a look at this? It's kind of stupid right here. What I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, what I'm looking at is pretty stupid. All right, so yeah, I don't know how to feel about this one. I really don't. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one. So I'm gonna take a look. So let's take a look here. Yeah. Also, bear with me a moment, guys. Some of the boxes. Yeah, there we go. Now we can see. That's my dog. Don't worry about my dog. Well, I think Naruto. Shut up. All right, so we're going to jump right in. So, yeah, good night, Tara. What about Naruto versus Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden, Dead or Alive? I will definitely talk about that. Naruto's talk no jutsu, got us koalas beat. Hey, I used to be like you, man. Oh, that's so funny. Give me 1 second. Yeah, give me 1 second here. Yeah, give me 1 second here. I want to make sure everything is leveled. All right, so give me 1 second. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, looks like we got a duplicate, a duplicate here. All right, so yeah, what do you guys think though on Monster Garu versus Naruto? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create something. It's gonna be hey Dark Knight, welcome. We're gonna be doing Naruto hot takes and talks as well, just so we kind of have a topic to focus on. And it's still gonna be fire. Like we still could talk about Naruto versus like any other character if you guys want, but we're just really trying to just capture, the main meat and bones of what we're going to be talking about here, and that can go in a variety of different directions. Yeah. Hey!
Good Atari.
Yay! Everyone, shout out to DFR for the. Come on now, give me. Stop playing with me. Yo, shout out to DFR for the 5 quid or £5. DFR 464. We do appreciate that. I greatly appreciate you, y'all. Thank you so much. W DFR right there. W, man. Thank you. And yeah, everything's going good right now. We're just chilling. We're vibing. We're just doing some scaling right now. We're getting, just trying to get some insight on like where we have our boy Naruto at. So that's really the question. Is we want to see where our boy Naruto scales, and that's kind of what I'm really focusing on right now. So yeah, I'm focusing on that, and yeah, that's pretty much just about it. Give me 1 second here. I see something that should not. Should that be here? Okay. All right. And so, yeah. Yep. Yeah, man. But outside of that, like let's jump back in. Thank you again, everyone. Everyone, shout out. Let's get some fires in the chat for DFR. Do appreciate you, man. We gonna be active. We gonna be live, chat. It's gonna be lit. This week is gonna be hype. This is just beginning. So let's get started, man. All right. So the next question is, The poll has spoken. Now, this is 3 years ago, but even 3 years ago, let's operate on a couple levels. Garu mops the floor with Naruto. 66% of people out of 127 people believe that. So around 75 plus people believe that. And they say Naruto destroys Garu. Why is there no in between? Why is it no like a high difficulty? Why are we like stuck in this like you gotta choose, bro? It's kind of weird, ain't it? It's just a little weird, but let me get my thoughts. So what do I think? Honestly, I think when I'm looking at it overall, I think that simply I think that Naruto wins. And I'm going to explain. But first, let's review the comments and see if they make any sense. All right. First off. First comment. Number 1, because these are like all numerical. All right, first comment. Garu one-shots with exploding heart-released fist. Have you lost your ever-loving mind? Oh, boy. Now, Talking Koala asks an important question. A very important question. Is Naruto planet level? I never watched Boruto, so I'm out of the loop on his scaling. That's a good point. But even with just Naruto is beyond planet level. But there are reasons. My problem is the jumps to absolutism people make. Garu has moon level plus scaling from the retcon poster. All right, let's take a look. All right. Lithosphere, placement, calculation, the volume, lithosphere density. Okay. Displaced mass, how we can find the force behind this push. We're going to assume Garu pushed across in 5 seconds. Lifting strength. Garu's pushing force. Okay. Alright. Alrighty, buddy. Alright. So. Hey!
How would you rank all Hokages from strongest to weakest excluding Naruto?
Hey! DFR, yo, let's go and check in on the 5 pounds! Ha 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 ha! Yo, greatly appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. I really greatly appreciate it, man. You've been already contributing heavily. You go ahead. Sorry, my voice messed up because I had to yawn. But yeah, guys. Yeah, I don't know about this one. Like, you see this? It's like, I get they're doing pixel scaling. But I don't know, because pixel scaling is fine, but pixel scaling needs to be done with intention, and you can't just throw spaghetti on the wall. So although we get an idea of how thick the crust is, and they're clearly showing it, maybe this is to scale for Murata. So I'm pretty sure that's to scale. But I feel like the math is off. And there's a reason I feel like that. The reason I feel like the math, and there's reasons for it. So let me kind of dive in. So, does this accurately sound like lifting strength and pushes the surface? Well, there's something called soil compression. Hey, good to see you. Thank you so much. At 1990 Dello, do appreciate you for coming through, man. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, and to answer your question, DFR, 465. If I had to choose out of the 7 Hokages, besides Naruto, I would choose number 1 in terms of, let's see, from strongest to weakest. My number 1 is Hashirama Senju. My number 2 is Minato. My number 3 is, due to Kamui, assuming he still has access to it, I might opt for Kakashi. Then I'd go with Tobirama, then Sarutobi, then to Tsunade. That would be my personal hierarchy. Sarutobi's a beast, by the way. But I don't know if I'd have him over Tobirama. And I think Kakashi, given his fight with Kaguya, I think Kakashi should be like right behind Minato, in my opinion. But that's just like from a battle analytics perspective. And that's just because, you know. Now, let's talk. Why is this the problem with the versus battle wiki and scaling, right? Okay. The algebra in this calculation, it's good. But, like, the physics is, like, weird. Like, I know, let's see, this is the paraboid. Alright, this is accurate. Okay. Alright. But the problem is it's like they're assuming Garu is like it's like assuming Garu is a big piece of mass. Okay? I would say it's the problem is they're treating it like the crust became like a big projectile. Okay? And you see the chat. Okay, good. We're good there. Sheesh. Let me put y'all on a separate window so that everyone can. Here we go. All right, this looks beautiful. I like this. I like this. Good. All right, that should be big enough. Chat, is that big enough? Can y'all read the chat live? Can y'all read the chat live? I hope so. Okay. But anyway, we know he went past the crust. This looks like it's more of the mantle, if we look at that. And let's see. The pixel scaling itself isn't too bad, from what I know, and it's using like a known reference lane, so the formula is like fine. But I think the problem is it's like I don't know. It's like they're treating it's if I want to be very specific, it's like you can't just say the crust is just like all of a sudden accelerating at like 80 kilometers per hour, you know, or 80 kilometers per second in like in 5 seconds, you know, that's it. I wouldn't say that's lifting physics. It's like more like projectile. So overall, the kinetic energy formula that's being used here is just going to be overinflated. Because you have to think about it. Just because you could do this to the crust, the kinetic energy produced by this small segment of the Earth's surface, be honest, chat, does that look like that could destroy the moon? Probably not. Probably not, when you really examine it. So I don't think that was really, like, a solid way to do it. Just because it's just kind of treating like, oh, the mass is moving. It's like, no, he hit the object, and the object is propelling, but it's not like a big chunk. He doesn't scale to the piece that he actually like is pushing forward at the same time, because that's like pushing strength. And like kinetic energy, when it comes to it's just a lot more convoluted than what it seems, because it's like, yes, a big chunk is moving, but we don't know how far it's really moving, and it's kind of hard to, you know, dictate that, because, you know, I would argue that using the pixel scaling from the lithosphere down, you don't want to go with the lithosphere right there, and when you're dealing with pixel scaling, it's still not going to be perfect. But that's beside the point. The point is the kinetic energy is just it's just a little inflated. Because if you look at this, you could tell. You know, hey, Angel Temmie. Wait, Temmie, I know who you are. Welcome, man. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for coming through. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by. But yeah. But like, you can't assume the crust just became a. You can't assume the crust became a flying projectile. Okay? Because when you do that, there's you gotta factor in a lot. Okay? Because there's motion, there's deformation, and then you gotta factor in the speed, which you don't know. Okay? Because even though 5 seconds is an assumption, it's like if you pick a time frame, it's going to give you speed. But if you don't get that, then it could be a lot of different things. And I get it. 5 seconds it's clearly faster than that, obviously. But the way I would look at it's localized crush distortion. All right? So it's not like a global binding energy scale damage. So in other words, I wouldn't really use this to say that. Because, again, if you're using projectile-based kinetic energy, for a deformation feat, right? Because it's like he really just deformed the Earth rather than just threw a chunk of the crust flying, then I wouldn't use that. But yeah. I would use something else to scale this. So, in other words, is Garu accurately this strong? Probably. I mean, he is. Because he has feats besides this, obviously. But, like, would I use it to personally say he's that strong? Probably not. I just don't think that this is a good way to do it. Because if anything, you want to take the mask and you want to use uplift. Okay? So, you're using the paraboloid, which is good, okay? And then what you want to do after is you want to the way you do it is to a different formula. I know that for sure. I'm going to go and see which formula it's technically is supposed to be. Because I remember that, because I could tell by the way this is done, it's not supposed to be a kinetic energy. You wouldn't use kinetic energy formula for this. Okay? But if I were to guess, it'd be more so like continental. But it would be like high continental, but I would not call this moon level. Moon level is thousands of times greater. Well, for the most part. It's like moon level is like up there. It is up there. It's at least 100 times, 200 times, 300 times, 500 times more than this. Like, I don't think people realize that. So, I wouldn't call that moon level. Next up. Garu moves a tectonic plate. Let's see. Earth's diameter, and volume. Okay, the Earth's crust, mass moving, the low end, mid end, lifting strength, and what is this? Oh, so he used an acceleration calculator. Okay. Alright, I see. So I'm going to, examine this one, and let's take a look. So, another one. Earth diameter. Yeah, we know all of that. The crust and all of that. The volume. Density of Earth. Mass move. 14. Page 14, 16 shows the feat happening quickly since it took everyone on the plane by surprise. So, using a low end. So, mass moved. So, a tectonic plate, he moved in 25 seconds. So So I see. You're saying like the kinetic energy it takes to move a tectonic plate. But that's the thing, though, is like moving a tectonic plate doesn't really. That's a lifting feat. That's not really a kinetic energy, because kinetic energy is striking strength. And if I'm striking a tectonic plate, it does not require planetary. Oh! Hey! Oh! 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 DFR! Thank you again! Oh my gosh! 10 pounds! Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, fires in the chat. Hold on. Let me get these goddamn fires, man. Y'all ain't doing it. I will do it then. If y'all ain't gonna join me, that's fine. But hey, yo, let's get some fires in the chat. Amanda Zebulon, thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome. And then, yeah, let's get some fires in the chat for DFR. Hey, yeah, that's the fire I'm talking about. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. We got more people. That's what it's about. All right, this ain't no regular stream, bro. We about to go in, for real. All right, let's get it, y'all. So, looking at the feet now, chat. I'm gonna ask y'all. Would you say? Oh, he moved the tectonic plate. He's planetary. Let me ask you this. I'm gonna give you a logical reasoning. Okay? And I'm gonna ask you in a logical. I'm gonna ask you logically. The problem with this calc in the versus battle approves these things, and then they look at it. I get it. Versus battle is based upon what calcs, what has been proven, can you prove this calc, can you prove this, blah, 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 blah. I get it. They want evidence. They want proof. That's fair. That's great. But Garu already has a planetary feat when him and Saitama clash fists, when they had the Earth to the second power feat. So that's already a planetary feat. So I don't know why. Because Blast literally had to say, yeah, we got to move this out of here. So it's kind of superfluous to even do all of this. Secondly, it's a kinetic energy feat being used for a lifting feat. Those do not belong together. Because let me ask you this, chat. If I take a car, right? And I take the car and I throw the car at 100 miles per hour, right? And then I suddenly take a kinetic energy calculator. Let's do that. Let's do that right now. So we're going to take so the mass of a car is about, let's say, 1,000 kilograms. Okay? And I throw it at, let's say I throw it at the speed of sound, 300 meters per second. If we calculate it, here's the thing. We get a total of... Alright, so we get a total of 45 million joules. Okay? 45 million joules. And if we do the conversion to tons of TNT, that is about 1% of a ton of TNT. Just still very strong. It's definitely like a bonker, but okay, it's not a bonker buster, but it's strong. Let's put it that way. Like, if you want to get an idea of how much joules of energy that can, like, what that could do, I would say it's beyond, like, kilojoules. So what I would say is, like, it's more appropriately close to small building level. Yeah, it would definitely be, like, a small building level feat, I would say, with this. It's strong. It's very strong. But the thing is, chat, do I scale to the car I threw, or does the car's weight and the force I put to throw it that fast factor in? Because, for example, if I put my hand on your face and I moss it the same way I would a baseball, what's going to hurt more? Me grabbing your face and just mossing it, just like bam, just mossing your face? Or 2, me throwing a baseball at your face at 90 miles per hour. Which is going to hurt more? Probably the baseball. Because that's added weight distributed through a throwing situation. So you wouldn't use kinetic energy. So you see, the kinetic energy formula I have is not the energy you output. It's the energy of impact that was made from the object. Which is why this feat doesn't work. So I'm going to ask you guys again. Hey, chat, if I used a car and threw a car at the speed of sound somehow, does that mean I'm building level? Like myself? Does that mean my punches are building level? That's what I'm asking. The baseball would. I have personal I'm surprised you didn't do a reaction on Yusuke versus Ichigo. Don't worry, Jigan King. Ooh-wee! That's coming. That's coming this Friday. Bleach is Friday. We're doing the Bleach topic. Tomorrow's One Piece. Today's Bleach. Ooh-wee! Yeah. And then Saturday is Dragon Ball. But yeah, let's go, man. Let's go. So, chat. Is this a feat? Would you say Garu's planet level because of kinetic energy? You see, this is the key of power scaling. This is not a knock on the guy who did it. This is to show you that just because people put numbers behind it and did a calc, that shows you the mods who run versus Battle Wiki, and I mean this in the most respectful way. That just means the mods who runs versus Battle Wiki are not fact-checking the feats. They're just taking them in and just accepting them. It reminds me of when Webcam Parrot one time said the Yu Yu Hakusho feat they didn't calc right. Now, personally, I agree with Webcam Parrot in some cases, but I actually calculated the feat itself, and the feat was actually more impressive than what Screw Attack did. It's actually more impressive because those panels were about the size of a continent because of the ecosystem they carry. Or we use the smallest ecosystems in order to dictate it. And yes, they had a curvature, they had a horizon. So those things went on for miles upon miles upon miles. So they were definitely bigger than island level, or at least a generic island. But the bottom line is, it goes to show you they're not really fact-checking these. They're kind of just like saying, hey, they put numbers behind this and they're using real formulas, so I guess it counts. I'm like, no, nobody is fact-checking the feat. And that's the problem, is nobody's saying, it doesn't really work like that, bro. You can't use kinetic energy for a throwing feat. It just don't work the same. So that's what I mean. And that's to show you that use discernment. So not everything you see is going to be 100%. And yet, you have is that's not Desmond. RDC Desmond. I don't think that's actually RDC World Desmond. Nah, that can't be. If this is actually RDC Desmond, then that's lit. But Desmond, if this is you... Nah, there's no way, because he would have more followers, unless people don't believe... Whatever. Desmond, if this is you, the actual RDC World Desmond, don't use the versus Battle Wiki. They cheeks. I'm just joking. But, like, in reality, like, no. You wouldn't use that. So, why is this important? Well, because, again, they're trying to use that to say Garu can do these things, but it's like, I don't know about that. Now, can Garu actually scale to this? Sorta. He does. I just wouldn't use those. But let's talk about win conditions. The problem with that is it's, let's see. See here. Yeah, whenever you do a feat, you want to make sure that you're not just, you just want to make sure that the physical model matches the feat. You don't use pushing feats for striking feats. That's why the Goku versus Superman does not make any sense, because it's like, let me ask you this. Can Eddie Hall take a punch from Mike Tyson in his prime? Somebody in the chat answer that. Go ahead, just answer that. Can Eddie Hall tank a punch from Mike Tyson? Go ahead, answer. And that's my response to Goku versus Superman when they were using lifting feats to calculate striking. Anyway. Next up, Garou is far more skilled, much faster, and has internal attack that's better than Sage Path 6 mode. Sage, what? Oh, 6 Path Sage mode, okay. Attack potency. Garou beats even Baryon mode Naruto, I think he's trying to say. He blitzes and mushes his insides. Nope! Nope! Because Naruto has taken internal attack damage numerous times. And he has a healing factor. That's the one thing that Naruto has, is he has a crazy healing factor. In the actual battle, the reason I give Naruto the win is because Garou can't regenerate if a truth-seeking orb hits him. Let me get some. Alright, chat. Put some hundreds in the chat if that's true. Let me get some hundreds in the chat if y'all agree. Garou, like Naruto, he's not going to take any damage. Let's get some hundreds. If y'all agree that Naruto is going to prohibit regeneration from Garou with the truth-seeking orb, which is exactly what it does, how many of y'all think that, you know, because I believe the truth-seeking orb works in a similar case to like Delta from Boruto, where it can inhibit regeneration. I'm trying to remember. Does anyone remember? Does Delta, we know when Delta hits you with a laser, it prohibits regeneration. Does the truth-seeking orb work in the same light? Because that's what we're trying to figure out. Or can you still regenerate? But yeah. But I do know, like, I know that it erases matter. That's a fact. And it bypasses durability if you don't have 6 paths power. So, without doing a no limits fallacy, I'm sure we can agree Garou isn't that much stronger than Naruto where he could just tank a truth-seeking orb. People think the truth-seeking orbs can permanently damage souls. I'm not sure about that. And yeah, we did begin Reattrap Gaming. Welcome, by the way. I'm glad to have you in. Yeah. I mean, Naruto is, you know. One second. Alright, let's see here. Alright, so, but like, anyway, you can't, I mean, it's not the same as Delta. I looked it up. But I do know that Garou's really not going to have an answer to it. Now, Speed Feats, who is faster. So I'm going to keep it to you a buck, chat. Although we have to get rid of our suspension of disbelief and just accept the fact that Naruto characters, for the sake of the narrative, do move at light speed, but the story just doesn't acknowledge it all the time. Kind of like how Kratos is a god in God of War, but we don't argue that he can't open a treasure chest. Or we don't say Goombas are planetary because they could scale to Mario. No, it's like if Mario got enough power stars, he is literally on another level. Lore-wise. Keyword, L-O-R-E. Lore-wise. So going with the lore, Naruto in the official data books, which I had to go over numerous times to really understand them. Naruto has feats that were light speed as early as Haku, and Water Fang Bullet Jutsu from Itachi, and many other jutsus have been light speed. And Naruto is not only 2 times, not 3, not 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Naruto is several dozens of times faster than those feats. So Naruto having light speed is accurate. Faster than light speed. And if we're going to treat it through transitive property and be linear, ignoring narrative logic in the sense of like calc stacking, Naruto has better scaling than Garu and Saitama. Because though Garu is definitely light speed, Naruto is just... Come on now. Kakashi cut a lightning bolt before it went back, meaning he intercepted the return stroke of lightning as a kid! As a kid! So when you factor in that Naruto was grabbing Haku out of the crystal ice sheet mirror as a child, a 12-year-old, with just not even a one-tail cloak, just the general aura and a rage boost. I think it's safe to say Garu does no character in One Punch Man besides Blast and his teleportation, which Minato can do. Nobody is going to outspeed Naruto in the entire One Punch Man series from what I've seen in terms of speed. So even if we argue Garu has more raw punching power, which I agree for the most part, he's not going to catch Naruto. And Naruto has moves that are very hacksy. What's Garu going to do if he gets hit with a Sage Mode punch? He's going to go warts? What's going to happen? Because I'm guaranteeing you, Naruto's going to tag him, and Garu, if we compare their feet side by side, if we're not stacking anything, I'm going to be honest with you, Naruto is so much faster than Garu, it makes no damn sense! Like, he is so much faster than Garu. 70 plus, probably 30 times faster. And I'm just giving a ballpark. I'm not even using the multipliers that should come with Sage's Sixth Path. That aren't explicitly stated, but are implied. Because remember, Curse Mark gave Sasuke, a 5 times increase or a 10 times boost? Somebody correct me. Was it 5 or 10 times? And if Curse Mark gave him that, and Sasuke got the Sasuke got the Sharingan, he was able to keep up with Naruto more. When Naruto got the Tail Cloak, they were about equal or relative, implying each tail is roughly a several-fold multiplier. At least the first cloak is at least 5 to 10 times a multiplier. Alright? So by the time we get to Sixth Paths, I'm sure Sixth Paths is more than just a 10 times multiplier on base. Because the one-tail cloak is. Six tails is more than that too. So imagine when you add all of those up, and Naruto was, without even a tail, was... Come on now, bro. Now, don't get me wrong. Naruto was close to probably a tail cloak versus Haku, and that was probably an anomaly. And Haku was holding back. I'll admit that. But the bottom line still goes to show. Even Jiraiya struggled with a 4 tails Naruto. Alright? And I don't know about y'all, but Jiraiya is definitely a dozen times faster than a lot of the other ninjas with light speed attacks. Because he's a Sanin. So with that being said, I'm sorry to say, guys, but I think it's very, extremely, highly, definitely likely that Naruto is at least a dozen times faster than Garu. And a lot of people don't realize, if you're a dozen times faster than someone, unless Garu is like Sensui, where he can still react to people, where his reaction time is greater than all his general stats, there's no way Garu is going to be able to just react to somebody dozens of times faster than him, if not arguably 100 times if I really want to go crazy. So Naruto's going to punch him. He's going to think, what the hell just hit my face? And Naruto's physical striking strength in Sage's Sixth Path mode is... I mean, he could compete with Biju bombs and Madara. He can crush meteorites. That Sasuke did. He's stronger. The Sasuke in the movie 1, Naruto is stronger than that Sasuke. And Sasuke got rid of a meteorite that had Continental Plus level attack potency. So I'm sorry, but Garu getting chin checked in the face by the attack potency equivalent to a, petaton of TNT, like a continent exploding on his face, with Sage Mode hacks and True Seeking Orb hacks and internal damage. I don't know how he's gonna feel about that, bro. I think Monster Garu is going to definitely just get mollywopped. I don't think he's gonna survive at all. I think that might just be enough to, because Naruto just is gonna hit him with like 50,000 shadow clones, bah, 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 bah. And he's not gonna be able to take. I'm sorry, you gotta prove to me he could just take that many, you know? Because if I have a wooden wall, and I hit with the power of Mike Tyson, I may not one shot it, but I can 10 shot it. You feel me? Anyway. 5 to 10 times. Thank you, Roz. Thank you. Thank you. And welcome to the stream, my brother. Yeah. So, like, I mean, overall, I think it's safe to say Naruto definitely takes this battle, in my opinion. Because I rewatched Naruto and got a better sense of, like, where they scale at. Now, are they as crazy as other people claim? Not really. But is Naruto a slouch? No, Naruto is strong. Naruto is stupid. And Roz, I got a question for you. Roz of Garu with all the talk, no just yeah. Yeah! Talking Koala, thanks for the $2 donation. Everyone, shout out to Talking Koala. Thank you so much. Cha-ching! I do appreciate that, my brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And like, Roz, you correct me if I'm wrong. If I recall, and yes, Naruto's probably going to be like, look, I used to be like you, bro. I used to be like you. Listen, man, you don't have to do this. I have to do this. I want to be strong. Then just follow a righteous path and you'll get stronger. Have someone to protect. You know what? You're right, man. You damn right I'm right. You know I'm right because I just beat your ass. You know, I'm going to beat your ass and then I'm going to lecture you. But, yeah, Roz, do you happen to know, my friend, Naruto, as far as... Is Sage's Six Paths Naruto... I think Naruto, when he fought Toneri, only used KCM-1, right? Or was it KCM-2? Because I'm pretty sure Sage's Six Path Naruto that fought Madara was stronger than the Naruto that fought Toneri, if I recall. Like, as in Naruto... Because Naruto is still really a beast, but I've heard people argue Sage's Six Paths Kid Naruto was actually stronger than Toneri in that context. I mean, well, not stronger than Toneri, but stronger than the version of him that fought Toneri. It's debatable, but it is, that's the thing. It's not completely crazy because it's debatable. So because of that, I'm like, The Naruto, I think he used KCM-1. So KCM-1, so it wasn't... So are you telling me this Negro, this ninja Negro, took a moon level attack? Now, is it low moon level? Yes, obviously, the gravitational binding, but that's not the point. Toneri did it relatively easily. So if Toneri can just kind of do that, I'm like, I don't know. It's Garu. Could Garu take an attack like that? I'm sure he could, but Garu almost crapped his pants. And then not Cosmic Garu crapped his pants when he seen a planet get sneezed. Not saying Toneri can do that, but I'm saying Toneri was just like, yeah, I'm gonna cut this planet and just started smiling like, yeah, got your ass, boy, and Toneri could just send the moon down. So it's like, yeah. Sage's Six Paths Naruto here is definitely going to dog walk Monster Garu, in my opinion. Jump cuts the swing set. I was like you once. Nihodu that shit. He just starts talking. Toneri was equal to Kage in terms of chakra, which is essentially power levels for Naruto. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, because Toneri was pretty cocky about Kaguya, or Sasuke does give an implication of somebody around that threat. So, yeah. And I think we discussed this before, the reason they don't mention Toneri later, and they just mention Kaguya, is because Kage was like a steeple. It's kind of why, like, they talk more about Frieza, even though Cell was a bigger threat, it's like Roz, do you agree with me that the only reason they don't talk about Toneri as much later is because Kaguya was kind of like the first of its kind that left that trauma or impact, and that's why Sasuke made it? Because if you think about it, like when we go into Battle of Gods, Beerus mentions, oh, he beat Frieza, but Whis doesn't be like, oh, he beat Cell. Because like, I mean, yeah, Cell's a crazy threat, but we ain't gonna be like, oh my gosh, he beat Cell. It's like nah, bro. Frieza, everyone knows Frieza. So it's like everyone knows Kaguya. I guess maybe that's probably why, for narrative purposes. Because I guess she left just a bigger impact than Toneri. Because Toneri was also a movie villain, so he was kind of like, oh, he's a movie villain. He's just it's like King Cold. I mean, no, not King Cold. Cooler. It's like, yeah, Cooler is crazy, but it's like, yeah, Cooler was stronger. It's like, yeah, but nobody even cares about Cooler. Everyone knows Frieza, bro. Alright, so having Naruto use KCM come out, I should say how strong he was in that moment. Yeah, okay. Alright, but still, like, he should still be relevant at the very least, because this Naruto was able to take on Kaguya, so we should still be able to scale them relatively. So that would mean, like, Naruto should be able to produce similar attacks to Toneri, if not stronger in terms of attack potency. So, if anything, Naruto's got Garu beat here. And even then, I just proved that these feats don't even scale to where they are. At least Monster Garu. Now, Cosmic Garu is a different story. But Monster Garu, you know. Yeah. Kage is the benchmark. Even the current Otsutsuki who come off as stronger, she's still in the conversation. So, gotcha. So, essentially, Roz, she's like the Frieza of the Otsutsuki. Like, there are stronger people, but she will always kind of be brought up in conversation, right? Is that correct? Cooler ain't canon. Hey, man, leave my Cooler alone, bro. Like, I hope he's canon someday. Alright, let's see here. Alright, that's enough of this conversation. I think we've pretty much settled who we think actually wins this, in my opinion. But yeah. But yeah. Now there's another couple of battles that we have. Now we got... Oh, hell no! What is this, guys? So we got Sage Mode Naruto versus Deku. This actually could go really well, because Deku is a monster here. And I don't want to spoil myself, but Deku precognition. The problem is, I don't think Deku can hit harder than a Sage Mode Naruto and Gamabunta at full power. I don't think so. I don't think so. Because Naruto is stronger than the same Pain who did a planetary devastation. Which, if we look at the actual canonical size of the Leaf Village is not small. Because when he did that to Konoha, like he did this casually. Like, if I recall, Pain wasn't even trying. Like, let's just look at the crater he left. So I'm not knocking Deku, but chat, look at the mountains. Look at the scale. Look at the crater. Look at the size. So, no offense to Deku, but I don't see Deku Sage Mode Naruto base would tank this. Sage Mode Naruto is very strong for the most part. Even if you say he wouldn't tank it, he definitely would be able to handle it. He was like Kage. He was like almost Kage level. Actually, I think he was Kage level at this point. So I don't think Deku is going to take, like, if you see the mountains, right? Now, some of the mountains in the background are bigger than this crater or village. So it's clearly, like, because mountains are a lot bigger than people think they are. Like, massive mountains. But, like, this is still extremely impressive. This is, like, ridiculous. And its effort matters. Deku's best feat was literally clearing clouds. He was Kage level, as Pain was a Kage threat. That's what I thought. Team Kaioken. Deku has what is essentially a worse Kaioken. I think Deku getting dog walked. Yo, tongue koala. I have nothing I can input. No, Top Hat, the fact that you are here is amazing. We do appreciate you for being here, Macadamia. In fact, do appreciate you for being here, Macadamia. In fact, we just want to give you a shout out. Shout out to Macadamia, being a great artist and a great Mario power scaler, everyone. So like Deku is strong with like weather manipulation and like clearing clouds and stuff, but like, bro, like that like just look at it, bro. My gosh. Like, this is an entire city. Casual. It's the fact that Pain did it as simple as, like, he just said, I'm about to beat y'all ass. What? Whole village just disappears. And this was casual. Pain wasn't even using the full planetary devastation, which he could do even greater stuff with. So, I'm sorry, but chat, do we agree that Naruto is probably going to do one Rasengan and Deku's already going to be wobbling? Because we know Deku ain't faster than light like Naruto is. Naruto's already faster than light here. No reason for him not to be faster than light when you look at the data books. Yeah, of course. Yeah, Macadamia, anytime. The Nut Master. That's a good one. Thanks, Roz. Yeah, so I felt like he was Kage level. So, yeah. Deku's still the GOAT, though. Deku's still the GOAT. But Naruto, in terms of versus battles, I think Naruto definitely has this beat. You know. Somebody said one Rasen, Shuriken, and GG. You don't think that Deku can dodge? He factually can't. He can, but Naruto can expand it or trick him with a transformation jutsu. Deku probably dies to massive Rasengan, but he can keep Naruto away with Air Blast. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Alright. So. Yeah, alright, so we're gonna go to the next one. Alright, let's take a look. Alright, Alright, so let's see. Next up. Alright, so let's take a look here. here. One Rasengan. Nah. Maj El Cid. Maj El Cid. Said. Ah, dang. I'll just call you Said. El Said. El Said, thanks for coming through, man. And yeah, to be honest with you, it's not too late. We're still just beginning. We got another hour. Yeah. But let's see. What do we have next? I'm looking for another versus battles on Naruto to see if we could like really take a look. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, hell no. So this one, this topic is a lot. Streets of Konoha, standard weapons, both get 22 weeks to prep. Morals on, but serious. Who wins? Spite. 22 weeks prep. I was gonna say Stomp for Naruto, but that prep changes. Surprise, surprise. It'll be tough, but I think Naruto could pull a win. Batman will have mastered every technique in the Naruto universe within that time frame and then proceed to kick ass. Batman Stomp, 22 weeks. I know this is 13 years ago, but I'm still gonna look. Stomp for Naruto. Taiju Kagebushi no Jutsu, the Batman mob by a flood of orange, all moving faster and hitting harder than Batman could ever hope to. Depending on when this is, Naruto, he could handle himself. No. Well, this is 2013, so let's use that Naruto. Because in the chakra, even if Batman had chakra, and Naruto's techniques are technically again. Prep time is Batman would get Naruto's chakra null to trap him and beat the Naruto would get scared of bats for the rest of his life. Batman with 22. I don't know, chat. Do y'all think that prep time is just too much? Two weeks prep time, Batman clears. DC scaling is confusing as hell. I have no idea what Batman has going. It depends. Like, are we talking like prep time to set up traps? Because like Batman's weird, bro. Batman is one of those weird characters where it's like if you take him at face value, it's like, oh, Batman has prep time. I don't care what his prep time is. If Naruto is pissed and in his chakra mode, nothing matters. Batman has no, like, it depends on what you mean. Like, is Batman in the Naruto world where he can collect information? Is Batman able to get scrolls and seals? Like, without understanding the limitations of prep time, it reminds me of a conversation Harvado and I had. Or was it Roz and I? I forgot. We said Batman's prep time is really good, but it's really going to depend on, like, how much you give him access to. So if Batman's allowed to go back and forth in the DC world and Naruto world, then yes, he could probably get enough prep time. And it also depends, because prep time... So, I'm going to tell you guys the flaws with Batman prep time. Even if Batman had 22 weeks of prep time, to assume he could beat Naruto just because he has prep time is undermining the strengths of Naruto. First off, you got Naruto, which at the bare minimum, even just on a lowball assumption, he should be able to react to Water Fang Jutsu, which is light speed. And that's not up for debate. You're not going to debate that, so don't even argue it. Just leave it alone, right? So the question is, yeah. No, Roz, then it must have been, you must have joined us in the conversation too. Because the thing is, we said, the problem with Batman is that when you have prep time as being the sole factor of a versus battle, the flaws is that you presume that he has that. So, for example, can Batman go to the DC world and the Naruto world. Is Batman allowed to grab devices from the source wall from the DC world and come back? The scenario plays out too many possibilities to where we don't know what Batman could or can't do or what he would and wouldn't do to win the battle. If we're assuming this is just Batman only within the tools he has on Earth and Arkham City and no access to the Justice League or anything like that, where he would normally go through like clone training simulations, then it's like, okay. And like prep time is just like doing research. If Batman's allowed to go to Konoha and ask questions about Naruto, study his skills, ask for what is jutsus to watch out for, the problem with Shadow Clone Jutsu, then maybe Batman can have someone engineer. He could probably take examples of chakra, look at the chakra network, probably study it, and make a device like kryptonite that can nullify chakra within a specific field or area. That might be something Batman can do. The problem is, if Naruto has Sage Mode and Batman doesn't know about it, because a lot of people in Konoha don't. Do you see why this is a problem? Because it relies on too many hypotheticals. Let's say, for example, nobody knew Naruto was unlocking Sage Mode except Jiraiya. Right? So let's assume Naruto's getting Sage Mode. Right? He has it. Nobody has seen him in 22 weeks. So even if Batman goes back to Konoha and he studies about all of this, he's going to be like, would Naruto have progressed to use Sage Mode? Given his personality, I don't think he would. Because Batman doesn't know Naruto's personality. And if he learns about how this kid is, he could either learn, this kid's very ambitious. Interesting. There's no video footage, there's no documentaries or autobiographies to get information. So then Batman's just relying on intuition and word of mouth. If he can get enough information, he could build a chakra device that can nullify chakra. Or it could just run into a situation where he goes, man, I think we can just nullify chakra. Then Naruto comes in with Sage Mode, throws a punch. Batman's like, okay, then I'll just dodge the punch. Oh, this is a unique thing that nobody has really been doing before. Bam, I get warts and I turn into a partial toad. Golly, that sucks. I know. Then it's like, alright, all the shadow clones. And okay, now what happens if there's a shadow, like 22 weeks of prep time. And then it's like, with all due respect, nigga, Naruto just gets so much stronger that he just blitzes you. Alright, well Naruto won't be able to do this with Chakra. Bro, it won't matter. Because you gave him 22 weeks, and if Naruto thinks that you're one of the craziest threats who can beat gods, and Naruto learns something, who knows? You know what Naruto can do in 22 damn weeks? What happens if he learns Minato's technique, throws a chakra at you, and a technique that nobody else except like Danzo and a couple other people know about? How's Batman going to learn? Batman's not going to be like, damn, I didn't know Naruto learned that within the 22 weeks. I'm like, of course you didn't, because you didn't know what he was doing. Unless you're saying, oh, Batman's allowed to spy on Naruto's training. I'm like, okay then. Like, there's too many what ifs. Because then it's going to be like, oh, well, I didn't know you could do Minato's technique. Yeah, I know you didn't. Boom, Rasengan, Nick. Oh, well, I can seal off nature energy. No, you can't, because you can't seal off nature energy. Nature energy is literally nature. You can't seal that off, bro. Fire is fire. Wind is wind, bro. Wind is everywhere. You can't seal that off with chakra. So even if you sealed off chakra, you ain't stopping that. That's sage energy. Now you gotta find out a way to do that. And then, if you could stop chakra, who's to say you could stop Kurama's chakra? Because this is 13 years ago, so we're gonna assume it's the older Naruto, but even 13 years ago in 2013, Naruto had Sage Mode, if I recall. I'm pretty sure he had Sage Mode. Pretty sure. So, in that case, what the hell are you gonna do to Kurama's chakra? What are you gonna do about it? He's like, oh, well, this field cuts off chakra. Alright. And Naruto will immediately be like, oh, I can't use my chakra in here. And people's like, oh, see, you can't use chakra. And? So what? Naruto still punches 10 times harder than even Bane. So then what? Anyway, guys, you get my point. That's my problem with these battles. Let me read chat. I agree with him being weird. There was one person who said prep time was a dead meme and that his scaling is stupid. Fighting skill as Wonder Woman about to match minds with Brainiac. I have no idea on his validity since he mainly does JoJo and Anime Tuber, and how DC is just incomprehensible scaling wise. Yeah. I like Marvel more personally, but Talking Koala says, I'd say a bigger handicap for Batman is his refusal to kill. So if he wins, it'll be by capture or KO. And I don't think KO is likely against Naruto. Okay. Even if we go stat for stat, Batman's way too inconsistent. Giving both 22 weeks of prep is too much, because equal prep for both is Batman's weakness. Hence why he still loses in versus with prep times. Donaz, that was the greatest comment. Thank you. Everyone forgets, it didn't take Naruto long to achieve KCM 1, and he achieved KCM 2 in the middle of a war. That's true. Batman would just pull another Tibetan monk technique out of his ass. Not to mention Naruto's battle IQ and adaptability with or without chakra enhancement, which I hate that he needs that to live, is better than what Batman is used to. Also, the moment Batman even tries to mess with Naruto's chakra, let alone Kurama could just end him with his chakra alone. He still has a lot of feats against heavy hitters, like when he judo slammed Supergirl. And he did dodge an Omega Beam from Darkseid and kick the Spectre. So, I mean, again, Batman is annoying! Honestly, the idea of prep time is quite absurd since most people don't exactly take into account what it truly means and if it's applicable or even valid. Thank you, El Said! Shukran. Oh, my goodness. Shukran Gazilan. Shukran Gazilan. Thank you so much, brother. That's what I've been saying, bro. You don't know how deep his prep time's gonna go. You don't know what he's gonna do. The writer's gotta be behind it. Because we don't know. You saw the examples. So, like, again, the problem is prep time debates collapse. All right? Why do they collapse? Because you strictly need to define the intel and resource limits. Because if you don't do that, like, if Batman only has realistic prep with limited cross-verse knowledge, he cannot reliably design counters for Sage Mode, Kurama, Shadow Clones, or unknown future growth. And if both sides get 22 weeks, Naruto grows too, it's over! It's over, nigga! It's over! You know what Naruto would do to you in 22 weeks? You know how stupid Naruto is in 22 weeks? Do you realize 22 weeks is nearly half an entire year? Do you not realize what Naruto can accomplish? Do you know what Naruto accomplished in 3 days? 3 freaking days! 3 days, nigga! 3 days! He learned the Rasengan. My headphones. Anyway, let me put these bad boys back in. Back to what I was saying, bro. 3 days! He learned the Rasengan! It didn't take Minato 3 years? I get it. Inventing and repeating are not the same. But Naruto invented a different variant of it not that long after, bro. That's broken. Like, this kid is ridiculous. 22 weeks? You gonna give him 22 weeks? That's like saying, I'm gonna give Goku just 6 days to train. Don't give him any days. In 6 days, Goku got 10 times stronger. Literally. And just from, I got 10 times stronger and got my ass beat by Vegeta and Jason them. And then what happened next? I guess my power level went from 90,000. Hey, how's it going, Bader? Hey, it's up, Bader. Hey, my power level went from, 90K to, nothing much. 3 million! So just get my ass beat, I got 33 times stronger. Times that by 10, that means within that year, Goku got 333 times stronger. Going to Namek. 6 days of training. Like, come on, get out of here. Don't give no prep time. That's the stupidest thing you can do to these anime shonen characters. That's like giving Geese Howard prep. Don't you ever in your life give Geese Howard prep time. Never in your life. Do you hear me? That is an order. That's not even a request. That's an order. Anyway, guys, people would say prep time Batman beats everyone, but he wouldn't even beat Superman if it wasn't for kryptonite and red sun radiation. Like, bro ain't making Galaxy Buster suits. Just the guy, I appreciate that. The hell. Batman fans don't understand why certain shonen characters getting the same prep is literally a free ticket to L Zone. Thank you. I agree, don't ask. That's why he's not beating Yes! He ain't beating Goku, Naruto, Luffy? No, none of them niggas. You know, you realize Luffy said, Rayleigh, let's train for 2 years. And then, he trained for 2? Let me give y'all a perspective. Oh, this is Gecko Moria. I barely beat him. Then I went to the War of the Best and got my ass whooped. Alright. Gecko Moria's island level. So Luffy's island level. Okay, yeah, nice. Hey, Rayleigh, can you train me for 2 years? Yeah, I'll train you for 2 years. Dude goes up to fight Doflamingo. We scaled Chinjiao. We scaled Doflamingo. Chinjiao can bust an ice continent. And then Doflamingo's like, that tickles. From the same punches Luffy threw. And then Luffy said, I bet that tickles. I'm going to get like a 10 times multiplier off of a 10 times multiplier from Gears. Bruh! He got that much stronger. And then it's just like, so you just went to continent. So it was like, bro, you went from island level to like continental times 40? Huh? You became high multi-continental to almost approaching moon level in just 2 years? And he got Naruto. Then he come his ass. Oh yeah, I trained with Jiraiya 3 years and an extra couple months with Kakashi and I'm a Kage level now. Like what? Kage level at 15 years old? Are you kidding me? Bro, the series started when you were 12. And you're literally the strongest character nigga in 3 years. Was Naruto 15 or 16 in the war? I think he was 16, right? I don't care. It's 4 years. 4 years? No, hell no. Don't you ever give him that much time. You must have lost your goddamn mind, bro. Oh, man. Oh, and you're right. So now the time is 6:45. So now that it's 6:45, it is time to do any topic. Now, I will still keep the theme straightforward to Naruto, but we can feel free to just kind of talk about other things as well. So let me we did. Let me go ahead and do this for you guys. Yep. Yeah, so let me just get this for you guys real quick. So yeah, you guys get the point. So yeah, Naruto wins. I don't do my boy like that, bro. All right, let me see something here, chat. Give me 1 second. Nope. Where the hell did you go? All right, so next up, Naruto scaling plus indie scaling. All right, so we're gonna do anything, like guys. So let's kind of have a conversation now. All right, so Sargon versus what the hell kind of battle is that? Sargon versus Nigga, you might as well say, pre-retcon Beyonder versus Batman. Like, that's the equivalent of having Sargon versus Batman. That is like, Roz, that is the spite battle I have seen in my life. You gotta be kidding me. Unless you're talking about a different Sargon. Because if you're talking about Sargon the Sorcerer, and yeah. But clearly you ain't talking about that Sargon. I don't think you are. So Harvado, we already went over the topic. I'm gonna keep it this way. So just to shorten it, Harvado, I said prep time debates usually just collapse because unless you are strictly unless you can strictly define the intelligence and resource limitations, and if Batman only realistically has prep within limited cross-verse knowledge, he can't reliably design a counter for Sage Mode, Karama, Shadow Clones, and unknown future growth. And if both sides get 22 weeks, then Naruto also grows. So, and you don't want to give Naruto, I mean, the same kid who learned a Rasengan in 3 days, you don't want to, he's the last person you want to give 22 extra weeks to. Now, if it's Batman has 22 weeks to fight Naruto, all right, sure. But even then, there's a lot of okay, what does he study about Naruto? Because Naruto's a blockhead. So what happens is Naruto just said, bro, I'm just going to one-shot you. And it's like, okay, that's why I was saying, Harv, I was like, does Batman grab a piece of material from the source wall? Does he contact a monitor? And you know what I'm saying? There's just so much what ifs that all are plausible from what Batman would do. But without realistic intel, it's you're reaching. It becomes reaching because it becomes all too hypothetical. Yeah, no, it doesn't specify. Yeah, Roz, I know it's Sargon you're talking about, and you lost your man. Bayonetta versus Batman equal prep. Nick, she don't need prep. Yeah, Batman. Bro, you could get Batman who laughs, and I would still argue Bayonetta. You get Batman who laughs. Yes, chat, you heard me. You can get Batman who laughs. The same Batman who fought Perpetua. Okay, Batman who laughs. You can get this guy to fight Bayonetta, and I could still argue even this guy would struggle with Bayonetta. And there's a reason for it. There's a reason for it. And Donaz knows why. It's hilarious. And thank you, Saeed. Yes, Arabic? Yeah. I could speak a little bit of Arabic. Yeah. But yeah. I speak a little bit of Arabic. Kolil. A little bit of Arabic, I could say things like هل تتكلم اللغة العربية or بتحكي عربية or شكرا عفوا, things like that. The basics, basic stuff like كيف عليك, الحمد لله, Bismillah, small things, marhaba, min fadlik, which is I think min fadlik is please, things like that, They, so some of my Arabic, I haven't spoken in a while, so some of my pronunciation is kind of booty. Like, oh, how are you? Like, kifalik, oh, alhamdulillah, ana bikher, you know, like, or like, sabah al khair, you know, masal khair, masal nur, you know, masalama. Yeah, I can go on, brother. You know, you get the point. And things like, yeah. So, like, if people are asking basic stuff, then yeah. Alright, so let's take a look at some other battles. Get ready for the next battle. I know exactly how Batman wins. He'll do no combat whatsoever, and instead he'll navigate and manipulate Konoha's vast legal system to get Naruto incarcerated on trumped up vandalism. That's accurate. Bro, what is this anti-Batman agenda? Are you Muslim? La. But my father is. And today's my father's birthday. So, yay! You know, it's my dad's birthday. So yeah. But yeah. But I don't remember how to say happy birthday, and you know, I don't know how to say it. I've heard some people use phrases like Eid Milad Saeed, but I don't really know if that's the context I would use. But like, I know some people say Eid Milad Saeed, but I don't even know, to be honest. Most of the people I work with speak Arabic. I recognize plenty of those words. Ha! That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Your Arabic pronunciation is actually quite good, you know, like really. You're too nice, my brother. Thank you. I appreciate that. Makes some people assume, oh, you have an Arabic name. I'm like, hey, yeah, thank you. But yeah, you know, it is what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? But no, Tim, it's nothing against Batman. It's just people be saying too much, bro. All right, but let's talk about a couple of things, man. You know, why has Hop been the topic of a hot topic? Why is she on there? Anyway, yeah, it's really good. But I'm not Arabic speaker, so take my compliment with a grain of salt. Hey, bro, anything, man. That really means a lot. Thank you so much. And, you know, you guys have been coming through supporting the stream, so I'm really glad to see it. And you know, we've been good so far. All right, chat. So we got another like 25 minutes before we start wrapping up. So yeah, let's make the most of it. Let's go ahead and enjoy this, man. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about other topics in correlation to this. Like, so one thing I've noticed a lot with power scaling is like details matter. Details matter a lot in power scaling because when you're power scaling in the sake of like doing things like this, you need to do it with purpose. But let's take a look here. Let's type in Naruto versus battle. Let's see what they say about him. The Naruto new era. Blank period, new era. Kurama. Alright. We're gonna do part 2 war arc. Naruto part 1. Naruto here, Sage mode. 4 tails. 6 tails. 8 tails. Sage mode. Let's see. Country level with Futon, Rasen, Shuriken. I would probably say higher, but they actually say it here. They just don't give it. Sub-relativistic, kept up with the nerf Tendo Pain. I would say he's way faster than this. Because the data books also give you ideas. And Roz told me that the data books were approved by Kishimoto. So, and I have to say, the data books were kind of like the Daizenshu. Kishimoto personally wrote a letter in them. So, even I can't really ignore those. Is it as pristine? That's a different conversation. But let's see here. Low 5D, like 5B, pack potency, multi-continental with a fully charged Bijudama, contribute majority of the energy. I disagree. I think Naruto is beyond planet level because because of feats shown with Kaguya. I have no reason to believe Naruto isn't capable of planetary abilities. So, yeah. But take my compliment with 22 weeks of prep time. Hajun Shinsa Bansho versus Wukong Black Myth. I haven't played Black Myth to know. So if we go by lore and assume Black Myth is based on the OG, then I mean obviously Wukong. But if we treat Black Myth as a separate continuity, then that's a different story. I agree, Aria Trap Gaming, Naruto is capable of such feats and abilities. Let's see here. And Roz, I will address that link a little bit later because that is big games talk. I'm gonna be working on this. So yeah, let's see here. So yeah, let's see. In any case, I think Naruto should be higher than this because Toneri already performed a moon feat. So, and I wouldn't go against this because to take the moon's gravitational binding energy, it's like ridiculous, bro. That's like 10 to the 29th joules of energy. Like it's a crazy number. Let's just put it that way. But yeah. So yeah. But like if we're trying to avoid scrutiny, I would say like Toneri's feat alone. Because again, Toneri's feat requires even just to stop the gravitational binding energy of the moon, his feet would be in like 100 octillion joules of energy, which is stupid. It's absolutely stupid. Okay? So, as far as exotons of TNT goes, Toneri's got a lot of people beat. So I would say higher. Let's see, new era. Let's see where they place him. Kurama Sage mode. Baryon mode. Okay. Let's say they got him at planet level. Stronger than young self, completely destroyed. Okay, base overpowering. Repeatedly stated. Okay, they're not showing it. Reconstruct it back. The Byakuya arms energizes my chakra. It would transform. Create a brand new world. So he can create planets. Good! While also having the power to Just Katara Susanoo is the strongest ninjutsu Naruto Sasuke can use. Mode combines Naruto in a process similar to nuclear fission. Hold on. Highest level. By the way, for those who don't know, nuclear fission is the splitting of atoms. It doesn't have to do with that. Think of it. Think it like a nuclear. It's similar to how the sun produces energy. Nuclear fission. Never mind, the theory doesn't matter. My chakra and your chakra serving this. So let me copy this image. I gotta save this to my computer. But my small caveat to this is the problem isn't the statement of nuclear fission. The problem is the context. People think, oh, nuclear fission, like how the sun produces energy, and they think immediately like, oh, this is solar system level. Now, I'm not saying Naruto can't get there, especially when you use the Otsutsuki destroying dimensions argument, which I think Otsutsuki's collapsing dimensions is a better argument overall, just in general. Okay. You can do transitive property. Now, again, this is open to scrutiny. But if we ignore this, we already know Kenshiki could split worlds. We already know all of this. We already know Naruto versus Ishiki, how that went, and a lot more. So that's fine. The problem I have is just because they say nuclear fission has to do with the theory of splitting atoms. Okay? Take a chakra that you acquire from elsewhere and just using it. But this is a totally different beast. It's raw materials to create this energy in my chakra until it completely runs out. Listen, don't make any unnecessary moves. Even rid yourself of superfluous thoughts. Those are the tricks to keep. I mean, if we go by the theory of what he's saying, if going by the baryon mode, then this alone means the multiplier for the... Now, them saying that, I would argue that just the idea of what they're saying and how nuclear fission is astronomical could produce numbers that could... Naruto would... I honestly think, like, if you assume Naruto's base is already planet level, and you assume Sage of Six Paths could be argued star level when you compare the Otsutsuki feats, which are logical within the novels... And let's just work within this framework, people. Let's just work with this alone. Think positively. On the positive higher end scale, where would the principle of nuclear fission put the multiplier for baryon mode? And that's the real question we want to ask. All right, man. Great video. Bye for now. Hey, appreciate you, just a guy. Thanks for stopping by. Is the 50-50? Yeah. Most six-path tier characters should be able to create planets, technically. I agree with that, Roz. I actually do. I actually do agree with that. But, yeah, man. There's a lot to take into this consideration. But, yeah. Anyway, the bottom line is, if you're taking baryon mode... See, this is why... See, Roz will tell you. Harvada will tell you. Everyone will tell you. This is why they don't want me scaling Naruto. They don't want me to scale Naruto. Because if I scale Naruto... Oh my gosh! I'm gonna go crazy with him, bro. So, let's take nuclear fission, right? Alright, the principle. Alright? If we need to know, okay, if baryon mode is a new energy process, which is mixing Naruto and Kurama's chakra, and it's similar to how the sun produces energy or fusion, then it means we're going to go into efficient, that it's going to be like how much energy they can output, just looking at this. Okay? So they're just burning on chakra. They're just burning it. Okay? So the only way to turn it into a proper multiplier is like Naruto is so much stronger than Ishiki, it doesn't even make no sense, right? Okay? If we lowball this, right? Like, he didn't one-shot Ishiki, right? So, and correct me if I'm wrong, chat. If we just go off of the data, let me get rid of all this. So we like use like the basic information. We could say that Naruto on a high, like even then, you can honestly say Naruto's gotten like from 10 to 30 times to like 30 to 100 times stronger, just because of the principle of what that does. Okay? Now, and we only arguing not higher just because he didn't one-shot Ishiki. That's the only reason why. But yeah. So let's see here. Lifting strength. I think they did decent with Naruto. I probably would say if we're going off the sole factor of what Baryon mode is supposed to be and how actual fission works in the theory, honestly, it's orders of magnitude, bro. Like, honestly, you can argue, because Roz, a lot of us may agree. A lot of these Otsutsuki characters could at least create dimensions with stars. How long does it take them to make one? Who knows? But at the bare minimum, Naruto should be relativistically like multi-solar system. Solar system is a good low end or like mid end, but I would say high end Naruto I could get to multi-solar system if I really dive deep into the theory. Anyway, Atari, it was a nice stream and happy to have you back, Atari. We wish to see more of you, man, moving forward in the year. Hey, man, likewise. And I appreciate you for coming through. So, chat, we still got a solid 10 minutes to walk through a couple things. So, yeah. Tell me what's on your mind, everyone, before we get ready for day 2. Take care, Saeed. Masal khair, alright? Yeah. If I remember how to say that, if I was even saying it right anyway. Uh-oh, dog's barking. Some do it instantly. Some create more universe-like structures by adding things like red nebula, gas type things. Yeah. And like... So like... The question is, what causes nebulon gases? And if Otsutskis create dimensions... If Otsutskis create dimensions that have red nebulon gases, that shows the variety and age of their dimension. Now, it's kind of like the Supreme Kai. I probably wouldn't say they created instantaneously without enough evidence right now. I wouldn't say, but like the Supreme Kais, they can create it bit, kind of like, you know, it's just like a canvas. I'm not going to paint a canvas in one stroke. But give me time and I can sprinkle the dots here and there, you know? So, you know, how would you scale that? You know, that's a question for the chat. How would you personally scale that? Let's also look up. Shoot. Yeah. Why don't we look that up? What causes red nebulas? So red nebulas are primarily caused by ionization of hydrogen gas by intense radiation from nearby hot young stars, causing gas to emit light and red part of the spectrum. These emission nebula are often associated with active star formation. Okay. So it could be remnants of supernova. Okay. So it could be like light bouncing off dust clouds, a dying star shredding out outer layers. Okay. That's interesting. That's very interesting. So, what if we say instead of creating it automatically, because they need chakra, what if we say they shape and cultivate dimensions over time and then populate them, kind of like a designer, right? Rather than instant star attack potency, they add to, like, we can argue they can make stars, especially blue stars, which are super duper 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 mega dense. Okay? So, what I would say is if the dimension itself contains like stellar scale celestial objects, stars, planets, double moons, then they have to have a lot of energy to do that. So they would scale to stellar like bodies. So I would say every Otsutsuki should be star level then by that context. And depending on the star they create is kind of crazy, honestly. You know. So not only do we have time space manipulation, but if we have people creating like stellar objects and celestial bodies, and oh boy, woo-wee, that's kind of crazy. Because that would mean like if young stars or young hot stars emit energy, would a blue star count as a young star? I wonder. Let me see. Are blue stars typically young stars? Oh! Ayo! Hold on. Momoshiki Nebula. So let's take a look, chat. Hold on. I'm going to put this here, and forgive me if I get it wrong. So, kinetic energy, like throwing a car at a building, are not greater way to measure power for characters. Not always. And if I'm right on this assumption, that is a better way to scale a feat someone impacts someone so hard that they feat far away, like let's say instance from Earth. Yes. That's a good way to think of it. Alright. Ooh. Alright. So, if we have this, right? Either we assume that this was a dimension they took ownership to and it already had these objects, or we say they created it themselves. That's the only problem. So if we take this for face value, then young stars are crazy. Because young stars are so dense, they're denser. Like a young blue tiny star is more dense. Like destroying a young blue star is more impressive than destroying a large star, which for some reason Versus Battle Wiki thinks destroying a large star requires more energy than a small star. And I get it. They differentiate a brown dwarf from a small star. But what about blue dwarfs, and white dwarf stars? Because those carry so much mass that you can argue, like, let's, for example, let's look up how many times more joules of energy does it take to destroy Betelgeuse, the star, a big balloon red star, versus how much energy it takes to destroy, I don't know, Regal, or like a blue, tiny star, like a white dwarf. Let's take a look. This was his, as the novel makes it clear he's sitting in a dimension with Kenshiki before heading to Earth. Okay, thanks, Roz. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, man. Let's take a look. A blue star is how much more dense than a giant red star? So, let's see. So, like, resources say the gravitational binding energy. What is the gravitational binding energy for Betelgeuse as an estimate versus the gravitational binding energy of a white dwarf star or a blue star, a tiny blue star? Is it gonna go? Are you gonna go? What's the binding energy of Betelgeuse versus a white dwarf star? More tightly bound than Betelgeuse, despite having much less. White dwarf star's extremely density, while Betelgeuse is estimated to be lower range, implying. So that means that young stars, Betelgeuse size compared to our sun. That means we can logically deduce that. So that means that Momoshiki has enough power to destroy something like this. That's crazy. Ah, dang, Naruto's crazy. Dang. What about VY or VXY Canis Majoris or Antares? Like, what about those ones? Because Antares is huge. And I know this series in Pistol Star. Pistol Star. $10 million times brighter than the sun. That's crazy. It has so much energy. Look at this. Jeez. So, chat, as you can see, we're learning science. Science is fun when it comes to power scaling. But the bottom line is just to kind of, like, you know. But yeah. Gravitational binding energy of VXY Canis Majoris. In joules of energy. How many times more binding energy does our sun have versus VY Canis Majoris? "17 times more massive than our sun." Okay. Huh? We're 5 times harder to destroy than that big ass balloon? Hold on. VY Canis Majoris compared to our sun. Chat, do you see this? Oh, hell nah. You mean to tell me that this thing is just all talk and no action? And then versus Battle Wiki, oh, well, it's a super giant star. No, the small stars are harder to destroy. So that means if you can blow up our sun, you can easily destroy this 5 times over if you have the... Bro, that's some bullshit, bro. That's stupid. Yo, chat, how do y'all feel about that? That's so stupid. That literally means that... I like it because I want to take this out of context and just be like, guys, do you think Momoshiki can destroy something as big as this? Like, no. I'd be like, he can 5 times over. Actually, he could destroy, actually... What about Pistol Star or Regal? Very tightly bonded. What is the tightest bond? Like, stars that usually emit red nebula slowly, that are super new young stars, what is their gravitational binding relative to VY Canis Majoris? Huh? 46? Roz, you telling me that even if we go with a conservative scale and say they're creating 1 star at a time, that they can go from 346 times to 3,000 times more energy to destroy this bad boy? So in other words, you're telling me Momoshiki could be multi-solar system easily, just based on science. See? This is why I love science, bro. The numbers don't lie. I don't know why it feels like destroying giant stars is cosmic equivalent of fighting an old man. Pretty much. Also AI. It may be AI, but we're just we're using Google AI just to, because this is pulling from sources. For example, okay, I'm on live stream and people don't want me to use the sources alone. So why don't you give me a link so I can look at the sources individually? All right, so here they are. Boom, 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 boom. And so, solar masses. So here you go, Macadamia. I'm not sure if you're anti-AI, Macadamia, but basically these are legit sources, theplanets.org. So we have here, we have earthsky.org, looking for Orion. And we have additional information on Regal, the star, 20 times more mass. So basically we have, all right, and then Kim, according to Lena Kim, the America School of Guatemala. Why did you have to pick Guatemala? You know, they just did that on purpose because they know I have connections with Guatemalans. Anyway, so, yeah, this is actually, so they gave us research papers. Fair enough. I have no right to judge. If I said it was I would be a hypocrite. I'd leave that stuff to, I mean, it's not, the real key thing about AI is it's taking the results that you would normally get and it's just compiling them as like an annotated bibliography. That's all it's doing. It's basically saying, hey, I'm going to highlight the key points you ask for and write them out on a script. Because otherwise, I can go individually and look at these, which is what I used to do. But think of it this way. Why go? I can do this, and I can double check always. But why go here and do all of this? Instead, I'll tell it, make me a chart, given the comparisons, and then give me the resources so that we can fact check and make sure that AI is doing its thing. Because you could do this with Google too. It doesn't really change much. It just takes it just saves you a little bit more time. It's basically saying, do I do a PowerPoint slideshow? Do I use an Excel spreadsheet in front of the whole chat to basically give the numbers? Or do we get the numbers quickly and then fact check to see if it backs up so we can move from topic to topic? Because in these streams, we gotta be moving topic to topic, because I don't want to make people sit here for 40 minutes while I do this. You know what I'm saying? But I do appreciate you for making the comment, because it does allow me to kind of explain my thought process into the scaling sense. And I didn't need AI to know that a white dwarf star is going to hold more gravitational binding energy than a giant balloon. I knew that already. That's why when I used to look at versus battle, I said, hold on, as I've gotten more into scaling. But yeah, math hurts my koala brain. The ability to speak doesn't make one intelligent. That being said, I love science aspect. Exactly. But yeah. All right, guys. So that should do it for today. It is now 7:33, and it is time to cut stream. But tomorrow, what is our announcement? So tomorrow we are going to be streaming and power scaling One Piece. So get ready for that. One Piece stream will be tomorrow, where we will be diving into a similar topic, but we'll be diving into One Piece, looking at versus battles, looking at different scales, having fun with it, and being able to dictate just how strong they are. So we'll be coming into tomorrow's stream about One Piece. I'll see you guys at 5 p.m. Eastern Time to 7:30 p.m. And we'll have a 2.5-hour stream and get to enjoy the most of it. So there we have it. And hey, thanks again for stopping by, talking Koala, Top Hat, Roz, and everyone else who has came through. We do appreciate you guys. And you guys take care and be blessed. I will see you guys on the next stream tomorrow. And I said Atari HB, and I'm signing off. Peace. Just be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed the content.